guys, today is September 8th. Yep. I am in zone 5 and we're just gonna quickly talk about two things I'm not too crazy about with the giant Belgium tomatoes. This being the first one. Can you see how that is ripening or ripening unevenly? That sort of really irritates me because it happens quite a bit. You see this tomato growing and developing, which is pretty large, but all of these little segments sometimes will ripen differently on their own timetable, which obviously does not make for a good sandwich tomato, and that is mainly what I grow these big ones for. I've got cherries to do everything else with, very good tasting cherries. I grow a couple different, I'm talking cherry tomato, and I grow quite many a variety. I really scaled it down this year, but I could not live without homegrown tomatoes, especially not for tomato sandwiches. These giant Belgiums, they taste fantastic, but a drawback is that they do this. So, I mean, you can still use them, not really for a sandwich. You might be able to, well, it depends on if this is gonna rot or not, which happens a lot. You're waiting for this to develop and then this will rot out on you. So you can hack it up and put it into salsa or your cooking or whatever you're gonna do with it. But as far as this being a full slicer, it's not gonna happen. Plus, this is so short and stubby, and look at how the bottom of this has grown. This is not a very good tomato, this one specifically, for your sandwich. Now, you'll get some of them, let's look over here, that aren't bubbling yet. I mean, look at this. This is gonna be a real nice one. This one is a mortgage lifter, and it kind of looks the same as the last one that I just showed you. It almost looks like a Georgia peach, the way that's shaped right there. Obviously not. They do get bigger than that with a mortgage lifter. That's just how that one has grown. Now here's the other thing that I don't really care. This is also a giant Belgium. And this one down here on the end, when it rains, will take this cage and flop it over. And it's flopped it over so many times. You can see down here, I have to stake it. There's a stake hole. There's a stake hole over here. There's one here. There's one here. Because each time it rains, the weight of the top of these tomatoes, sorry, the National Guard is out, is going to take these over. It's going to flop it over. And then I'll have to come in here and push these back, rearrange it, get the cage set up the way I want it, and then I'm going to have to counterbalance that with this stake, looking for, I have to create a whole new hole because it's not going to hold it with an existing loose hole unless, I mean, I have one in there and just stomped the ground down, but I really don't want to do that. But that is something that you have to consider with these, with cages. Now, the problem is, I did the cage right along the whole driveway. I wasn't really thinking this year. I had a lot of mom's medical issues. I wasn't even sure if I was even going to put in a garden. But look at what I have. I'm rebuilding the soil here. And I've got more stuff in the back, around the back of the house. So I didn't really think out about the cages. I should have put stakes in right from the beginning and just grew them up on the stakes minus the cages for these big heirloom types of tomatoes. And the reason that these cages don't work that well by the driveway is some of the concrete footers are underneath the soil line in some of these areas, and you can only take that cage down so far. So that is a drawback for my specific instance. So learn from it if you're planting right up against your cement driveway. Oh, look at this. In case you've never seen one of my videos, I am growing this is supposed to be blue. Still looks green to me, but it looks like it's starting to have a twinge of some blue color come through. It's the Blue Doll hybrid pumpkin. So I'm excited about that. I've got one going here, which is going to do nothing because it's not going to have enough time to mature since it is the 8th of September. Got some beautiful black crems. Love them. More black crems over here. And you can see how, again, how this cage is leaning, how my stake is leaning because it's so top heavy. And since it is September 7th, I'm not going to mess with pruning this because this is really almost towards the end. Probably in a couple weeks I'll have to pick everything I can salvage, and I'll need to put that on the back counter for that to ripen up. There's Fifi. So these are Sweet 100s. And this is really a mixture of things that I pulled out of the back garden bed that volunteered. Because I will make salsa out of random tomatoes, and that's something that I do also with those giant Belgiums. When you have to chunk them up, don't even see it. You'll just have to kind of chunk those up to make some things viable. And look at these pumpkins out here. Aren't these gorgeous? 3 right in a row. So this is way off of the garden. I should say the square bed that I have. Because right here are the stakes and the posts here. Yeah, it's way, way off of where it should be. But that's okay. Here's some more of those volunteer tomatoes. I thought I pulled them all. The wildflowers that I had in here are pretty much done. I had to pull them. I pulled all of my potatoes, did those out of the box. I've got 2 at the bags. I'm gonna let go for maybe another week. They're fingerlings to see if I can get a little bit more growth on those. And these are the Indigo cherry drops. And I need to come out here and pick these. Look how gorgeous those are. This is one of the best tasting cherry. This is a huge cherry though. Like this is a normal size cherry, what you would expect most cherries to be. Here's what you normally get, is this size. They're absolutely wonderful. They have a fantastic taste to them. They're very tangy. And this one is just growing off of this tomato cage, so it's making a nice counterbalance weight for it, which is very helpful to me. And all of these vines here, and they still are pumping out all of the blooms, all of the flowers, which is gorgeous because I can see it from the kitchen window up here. All right, that's enough of our mini tour. Love you. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day.